I stand here today as a proud Democrat, but I also stand here today mourning a great public servant, Congresswoman André Carson. Friends, there's a void today. We have a void in leadership. We have leaders, it's true, but there's a void in a unique kind of leadership. Throughout history, we've seen examples of leadership. We've seen authoritarian leadership. We've seen tyrannical leadership. We've seen servant leadership in Jesus Christ, in Mahatma Gandhi, in Dr. Martin Luther King, in Fannie Lou Hamer, in Congresswoman André Carson. The servant leader is a selfless leader. The servant leader will give you his or her shirt off of their own back. The servant leader is accessible. We don't just see the servant leader when it's time to win an election. We see the servant leader 24/7 out in the streets, out in the grocery store, in the parking lot, walking with you and me. A servant leader is unbought and unbossed. And servant leader is unafraid to stand up to the Bush administration and say, I'm against the war in Iraq. I stand here today. Just 45 minutes ago, I was given a pen. A woman I met the other day, Monday in Beach Grove, she gave me a pen today. It's a dove with the world, stands for world peace. She told me that her son is being shipped off to Iraq in March, next month. Tears in her eyes. Her son will join my best friend, Reginald Williams, who's serving in Iraq. We are spending billions of dollars every week, losing hundreds and thousands of Americans and people from all across the world for a useless war in Iraq that we need to get out right now. How can we spend billions of dollars building roads and building schools when our own schools are suffering in America? Our schools need to be properly funded to meet the requirements of No Child Left Behind. We need to revamp the language so it's more flexible for our educators. My wife Mariana is here today. She's an educator. And we talk at the table all the time about the void that's in our school system. We need to have schools that meet the needs of our students. We live in the wealthiest nation in the world and we don't have universal health care. It's a shame. There are attempts right now to allow Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices for Americans. That's how it should be. We need affordable prescription. We need to revamp the GI Bill so that our veterans are honored properly. And lastly, March 11th. Friends, we have a serious election coming up that we cannot take for granted. We have a Republican opponent who stands to rubber stamp the Bush administration's agenda. The Bush administration's agenda of protecting the wealthy 1% of our nation. We can't allow that to happen. We need advocates in D.C. who will be bold, who will be courageous, who will be accessible, and most importantly, will be accountable to you as your servant.